G'day friends and fans. Welcome to Dave Talk Stuff, Ukraine War Update for the 6th of April 2026. I'm your host, the author, David Applegate, and as the war continues, I will continue to bring you unbiased media reports and analysis from the front. Now that doesn't mean the media is unbiased. I mean, I am. The media is biased. The bias is apparently in front of you and often invisible. What is missing? Why is there bias? Well, the Ukraine Maps, the company in California, has admitted now, finally, that it's not just the Ukraine war, but all wars. They delayed the release of information and data. They claim it stops their services from being used by the enemy. You don't think Russia has its own, or even Iran or China have their own intelligence and they're not sharing intelligence? In fact, out of sheer desperation, Iran is probably getting more intelligence than Ukraine. Russia is desperate to prop up its southern front. Why? So we can feel safe so that the Allies can't establish a beachhead on our southern flanks. It's all geopolitics is about strategy, right? Russia wants to keep its. Russia needs warm water ports. It needs needs to protect its massive size from foreign invasion. This stems from hundreds of years of invasions by the Mongols and other land armies. As well as their own failed imperialism. It has left a scar on society that is slow to heal. And the West, liberalism is nothing more than a deceptive business practice to make everybody think he's harmless. He's a chummy fellow. He's all about the rights. No, he's not. The liberal is the most deviant there is. So what's missing from this map? All the drone strikes. They're telling you there's drones, but they're giving you the illusion that Ukraine shoots them down. But really, if they did, why are there power outages? And why are they not reporting them all? Yet Pravda and other Ukrainian publications are reporting all sorts of drone strikes on Odessa, on Mykolaiv, on Sumy and Kharkiv. Well, we have these. So, and probably more others that every day go on along the front. Because here we have an hour ago, they admit to clashes yesterday, and airstrikes. There's over 10 airstrikes in that, so, Ukraine just can't be trusted. So, going through the map, one thing they do is they're slow to update, but right now today, as we go through the map, there are clashes, and other organisations report clashes too. So they've got to try and at least keep up with other reports. But there's been very little progress down here. On this front has seen a little bit of progress, nothing much. Nothing. Now the Russians supposedly pushed through here. Saw a bit of a push here, but no results. A little bit of probing attacks here. Nothing of consequence has been taken. But it takes time. There's over 100,000 troops. They're well dug in. Artillery isn't that precise. Even precision artillery can be meters off. I haven't been in a war, so I can only say, this is reported as a light war. There isn't constant heavy action, and there's many areas on the front of long lulls and silences. But there are clashes here and there, and Russia is putting pressure in, and they are slowly taking Hershny. They've made small advances in Hershny. They've taken more territory, and as a consequence, the Russians are pushing westward here. They're pushing north here. They haven't gone far, but they've made progress. They've made very little progress elsewhere, though. But they have. And they hit Ukrainian positions all the time, often taking out vehicles. Vehicles are easier to take out. And the reluctance is a good thing. At least the reluctance to kill is a good thing. The reluctance to do a lot of damage is a good thing. And you should hope that Ukrainians' bloodlust to continue this war will abate, one would think. Now, Russia has turned to many different directions to deal with drones. Improved air defences, primarily surface-to-air missiles, but that can only get you so far. Then, what else is there? Air intercepts, helicopters and aircraft, right? Predominantly helicopters, doing a good job. The gun pods, the new rockets, particularly the laser-guided 122s. We may actually start to see changes over time. But one of the things that is in Ukraine's favour is the large size of Russia and drone swarms. Drone swarms can make their way overland at low altitudes, and pretty much while one keeps the air defences busy, the others nip around the radar contacts to home in on the target. You're guided, obviously, by foreign intelligence agencies who are helping Ukraine. It's not just the UK, even the Americans. Everybody outside the BRICS is helping Ukraine. Why? Because they want help in the future. But they're not going to get it from Ukraine. They're hoping that Europe will... But no, Europe is only helping itself. And more people in America are starting to wonder, is this war is just one big money laundering operation? Yeah. Why can't we have a nice, clean war? Well, you can't. Right? Greedy. So, automated systems... Yeah, once what's considered science fiction. For now, AI is able to produce, I would call, operator assist. They're not... While they consider them smart systems, in 20 years' time, it'll be like the first smartphone. Yeah, smart was a little overrated. More like semi. Now the Zu-23 too, again a 23mm. See, in the past, to compensate for the inaccuracy of the Zu-23, it would be the quad cannon to basically spray and pray to shoot down helicopters, low-flying jets, cruise missiles. It was highly effective in the Vietnam era, but not so effective now. Now, increased stabilizers, increased ammunition proficiencies. They've cut the quad down to a twin, and it's actually autocannons are very effective. And if you've ever played a strategy game, you know the best thing to do is a Maxim or a Zoo at a key junction and just cut down anywhere from cut down entire squads And, a small team could pretty much eliminate the Ukrainian army if they all funneled through one great big charge. They would be cut down. Just the number of autocannons, 9,000 autocannons. Russia is heavily invested in the Zoo system. But that's why there's no big charges. That's why most Ukrainian offensives fail. That's why they have in the past suffered heavy consequences. These new guns, however, are very much like a video game. The operator, up and down, uses foot pedals for left and right. But increasingly, they are optical systems. They have a large optical radar system. So you got radar, visual, and a rangefinder. Now this replaces the secondary gunner, who would normally be the one spotting the targets. And so your primary operator could sit comfortably and the system can identify moving targets. Yeah, it is controlled. It is powered by a generator. Pull the cord, get started, and here he is. The lever actually controls your firing rate. Now, there are other systems as they hinted at. This is the, right here. This is Zoo in operation. Still got the iron sights on it. See those? That's a new modern mortar. It was originally proposed, believe it or not, by a grocery manager in Australia. He had the... it's an electric operated mortar. So the canisters could be fired in different orders. Different types of canisters could be loaded, fired either in sequence or out of sequence. It was a sci-fi weapon that he thought he could bring to life. And he sold the technology to the United States. But over time, people have talked about these systems. Now, Russia has these are 23 canisters in a box. They don't fill every canister for some reason. I don't know. Don't know why they don't put all 24 canisters in all the holes. So, yeah. I read somewhere, but I don't remember why they don't fill every hole in the... But they do have various mortars now, all on tanks, and they fire shotgun canisters. Basically, pretty much highly fragmentable grenades, but predominantly they're fragmenting in a cone, outward. Now against vehicles, drones, as you know, primarily disable the vehicle by incinerating the crew. Let's be frank. There's what drone swarms look like. And they are, even to missiles, sometimes they can be fragmented, but missiles can only 1-to-1 most of the time. They are too well spread. Guns, on the other hand, can just pop targets in a spray and pray and actually take out multiple targets. So we have the primary gunner, the reloader, and the assistant, because to relocate, they still need to... It takes a couple of men to relocate a Zu-23. But yeah, even some of the Russian equipment still has the star on them, I know. It just shows you that they are reviving and revising old equipment. And some of them still have... That star is actually, I believe, now the trademark logo of the corporation that makes. Yeah, I know it's the Soviet Star, but it makes the. Yeah, there is a minigun version of the Zoo. It's 23 millimeter, which as a minigun would be devastating. And again, you add to that the new fragmenting ammunition, and you've got quite the deadly combination. And it's easier to portable. There's the power supply, and yeah, it's made with imported parts. Yeah, it used to be made all across the Zoo system was spread out. It was part of the Russian integration, the Soviet Union, to make the Soviet Union satellite states feel wanted. Parts were made all over the place by different corporations. With the breakup of the Soviet Union, there's going to be lots of Polish and Romanian and Hungarian parts or that Russia stockpiled, right? After the breakup of the Soviet Union, Russia stockpiled a whole lot of stuff just in case they couldn't get them again while they studied to rebuild their economy. Now, Russia was slow to rebuild their economy. They were coming out of a massive depression and still technically are depressed. Their growth rate is, but Europe is looking at Russia and saying, can we, what, yeah, the 23 millimeter belt fed is still manually belt fed loaded. But Europe's looking at Russia and saying, can we destroy them to, they can actually destroy artillery. That's how good. But it's got to be a good day for destroying artillery. You have to be you got to be pulling down on that trigger hard. Yeah, imagine the old lever trigger. That's going to be, man. They are upgrading all the time, but it is taking time. They are coming out of depression that has taken 27 years. It's one of the reasons why they like Putin. He's bringing them out of depression. He's ended the. I don't say completely, but he's reduced Russia's drug crisis, alcohol crisis. He's slowly solving their population crisis. They are slowly coming out of it. But one of the things they can't solve is the angst of their former satellite states, who seem to still want to take out their anger and frustrations. Now, right there we have the microwave emission gun. It basically focuses a beam of distorted microwaves to create a electronic disruption in drones, often triggering what's called a recall protocol. A lot of drones, particularly in Ukraine, have that recall protocol chips removed and replaced with a homing, where basically if they get jammed or whatever, the chip will lock in the and make sure that the drone will try and continue. The chip will try to keep the drone from on course. Of course, replacing any technology in the drones does make them unstable. After you see, this is why increasingly Russia has turned to firing, replacing these guns with these guns. Because, their drone volunteer army, while somewhat effective, they can only jam so many drones. And, both sides are now engaged in swarming techniques. And one drone swarm, is not enough. Russia has carried out 4 drone swarms for a couple of hundred drones in total. And again, as you see around the map, Russia may have only made small progress, but Ukraine The economic damage is lasting, and the loss of manpower permanent. Now, a lot of them are mercenaries, and it's believed to be Russia's only crippled, not destroyed Abrams. They are routinely damaged, and they are routinely fixed. Most of the tanks are damaged, not destroyed. But what they do is they're losing crew. Most drones can't destroy a tank. But killing the crew is just the same result. It's still a piece of dead equipment. And even if it's recrewed and repaired, that's economic loss. And killing the crew, eventually, they'll run out of tank crew. Long before Russia runs out of tank crew. 69 artillery systems is big, but not really that big. But here's the major damage. Electronic warfare systems. Again, they're not $20 million systems. They're $20 million systems. There's 20 of them. People seem to misread the reports. I don't get why. But yeah, so this is around, 20 systems, that's around $47 million. That's worth more than, well, except for the tank, most of the artillery as well. But the real loss is in manpower. It's not that big. I thought Russia would increase past this, but they probably realize the factor, right? I explained this in videos before. For every 100,000 men, the casualty rate is around 1.1. This is 1.1 for every 10 men are wounded out of 100,000 men. Okay? That is the current rate. But when you add another 100,000, that casualty rate didn't stay at 1.1 per 10 men. Went to 1.2. So, and then when you add 100,000 again, the casualty rate went to 1.3. It didn't spread out. You didn't reduce the casualty rate. You increased it. By increasing manpower, Ukraine to 8 has taken it to nearly 2 per 10 are wounded every day. And 70% are going to die. That's why you get thousands per day wounded, with the majority of those wounded are going to die. It's a sad reality. Now, allegedly, British volunteers in Ukraine are trying to reduce the casualty rate. It has not been affected, but they've stopped it from increasing. So it's still high, and claims are that, Ukraine, we're on target to kill more orcs than we lose. No, nobody's buying that, but that's Zelensky's cope, and the West is ignoring it. Of course, it's out of Trump's control, so why worry? But in the UK, they don't care. But I forget where Keir Starmer said about a week ago, what's important is we're defeating Russia, and with his usual bobblehead bullshit. Prime Minister bobblehead, two-tier. Now, initially it was reported as a Ukrainian sabotage attempt, but now they have the Ukraine has denied. Now, these were professional explosives. It was carried out by Ukrainian sympathizers in Serbia. They planted explosives of devastating quantity, I suppose, at a key gas pipeline that is transporting energy to Russia. From Russia to Ukraine, right? Hungary. With the Duba pipeline shut down, Serbia's redirected some of its gas to Hungary to keep the flow of energy. I think this predominantly comes from through the Turkish line that goes, Turk Stream. The Balkan line runs through Turkey, Bulgaria, Serbia, and Hungary, and ends in Slovakia. Right. But the the branch that comes up through Ukraine to the original gas line is shut off. Now, initially, no one blamed Ukraine. They just said sabotage. But has been confirmed, at least, that they are believed to be Serbians, believed to be sympathizers with Ukraine, but they are not cooperating with authorities, and they have not said how many people have been arrested. They just said investigations are ongoing and more arrests are expected in the supply. This was an organised group, who have carried out sabotage in the past, allegedly. My guess is it'll be like the attack in Poland. 29-year-old Ukrainian who's been in Poland for some time, living with his girlfriend who's only 15, will just walk out of jail because everything in Europe is now politics. Nothing is right or wrong anymore. It's all politics. And because Ukraine is a protected class now, they don't want it in jail. Africans who commit murder. So what do you think they're going to do to Ukrainians? Now, Kallas, they're referring to Kaja Kallas, Europe's chief policy propagandist, who has made the outrageous lie that Russia has attacked 19 countries in the last century. Don't you mean Europe? Now, Europe has engaged in some defensive actions which were justified, but predominantly Europe has fucked up. The liberal establishment cannot reconcile its beliefs. France couldn't reconcile its beliefs and justify its position on Algeria, yet now it allows Algerians to flood into France. Algerians are hypocrites who should be lined up and deported. You didn't like it, French rule? Then you can't be in France. Full stop. No. You're colonisers. Algeria and the French should bomb the shit out of you and be perfectly justified because that's what you did to them. The world's full of hypocrisy, folks. And this is why so many men want... and again, I'm proposing a universal brotherhood that is all about the rights of protecting men. And one of the things that we should protect ourselves from is war. Because we're increasingly used as instruments of war, not as defence, but as foreign policy instruments. And predominantly, Europe does not want to stop the Ukraine war because they want to destroy the Russian economy so that they can grow their own. This is the liberal establishment, not all Europeans. But it's predominantly driven by women who want to flex and show how strong and powerful they are and make sure they're safe. So this is why many in the field betrayed by Macron, many feel betrayed by Angela Merkel. She finally admitted the quiet part out loud that a million migrants were flooded in to make sure that the right-wing parties could not win elections. That's treason. That's beyond the pale. Okay, the left have no morality, no morals. You can't hate them enough. They do not care about you. The war in Ukraine is predominantly about killing. Many now have said, I've said it for years, that Ukraine is genociding Ukrainians. Okay, they started back in 2014. Even before then, they've been selling their own girls off to organised crime for prostitution. They've engaged in Or, why Ukrainians are so good at drone technology? They'll even tell you. Cigarette smuggling into Europe. Right? Where is it? Yeah, what's she advertising? Yeah. Okay, where is it? Quickly. Making me look bad. The story was on the front page. It's been pushed down. Stories. No, it's been pushed down. Okay, let's see. Stop defending. Propaganda. There it is. From cigarette smuggling to 100-kilogram bombs. How heavy drones are produced. You do not get overnight to become experts on drones. As a kid, I flew hobby planes. I know how difficult they are to build and design. I haven't done it in years. It's a very expensive hobby. Even back then it wasn't electric engines either. They were little petrol engines. Refined methanol, which makes it not the kerosene you buy at the local shop. I'm talking, jet fuel. Little cup and fly for hours. Yeah, so I know. But yeah, cigarette smuggling. That's why Ukraine is ahead on drone technology. Also, because they were making drones for China. They were, from 91 to about 2010, Ukraine was kissing the ass of China. They're only in your pocket because China can't afford their nasty habit and wouldn't fund their war against Russia. So do not think for a moment there is any morality in this war. There is only selfishness and propaganda. No one wants to address the Donbass war. No one wants to address the ethnic cleansing that Ukraine was engaged in, or is planning to engage in. If once they liberate, if they get to liberate these, in their eyes, if they get to take these regions over again, what's going to happen to the ethnic Russians? You think the West are going to turn a blind eye? Absolutely, just like how they let the Albanians kill in Yugoslavia or Serbia now, right? They let the ethnic Albanians and Turks run riot in Yugoslavia because destroying one more country meant one less Soviet satellite, meant more for Europe. The whole liberal establishment is just one big more for me. All right, rules are for thee, not for the EU. Okay, when they talk about defending human rights, did they defend the human rights of the girl who was raped on the subway, or the pensioner who was stabbed in Trafalgar Park by the Muslims? No, there were no human rights defended. Oh, they said, we're going to defend all human rights. Not just the victims. They never defend the victims' rights. There's no justice in the UK. So, there is no justice in Ukraine. People are murdered every day. Okay? The people are suffering. And the 1 million or 2 million people who have the Ukrainian flag on their bio, they do not give a rat's tail about Ukraine. They just want they want to be seen as good people so they can continue on grifting and bleating. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Please support the channel. You can support me on Ko-Fi, Patreon, buy my books, buy merch. I appreciate each and every one of you. See you in the next video, and bye for now.